Hey everybody, it's Marco from Analog Things, and today I have a special guest for the show, and it's Thomas Zamolo. He's a well-known Polaroid photographer based in Sweden. He does a lot on mosaic work, so he stitches a lot of Polaroids together to one big image. He also does some 8x10 work. He was on a business trip in Vienna, and he had some time, so we spontaneously actually recorded a video. We'll just jump into it right now. And with me is Thomas today, and we already took a really nice mosaic here. That's something we're going to talk about today. Now I think Thomas should introduce himself and tell us a little bit about your work and what you do and where we can actually find your work and look at it or buy it.
So my name is Thomas Zamolo. I'm originally French, but I live in Sweden, Stockholm. I've been shooting now Polaroid for almost 15 years and developing slowly and all that. I've kind of mainly focused my work on mosaic, yes, and then I got introduced to 8x10 a little bit later, and of course fell in love with it. The format is just amazing. So I would consider now myself like between mosaic that I really like and still want to push it further, and then 8x10 because of this format. And of course, combination of two that I'm really looking forward to. I started recently, like the last year, 2 years, I've started, and of course the film is a problem.
As we all know, that's the problem. At big Polaroid Originals problem at the moment to produce 8x10 film and give us material.
Because I would need a few boxes to do one image. Yeah, I've done a series with one box, 9. That I've exposed in when there was still the Impossible Project Paris. I've exposed them there, but now I don't have films anymore. So
who does?
Yes, exactly.
Would you consider doing it on film? I mean, or is it like for you too hard?
No, I've tried because I have a half frame. Which is it Olympus?
Olympus,
yeah. Half frame, super beautiful pen F, exactly. And I've tried a little bit and stuff, and I've of course there's a lot of people out there that are doing great, amazing stuff. But since I've started with Polaroid and my heart is still with Polaroid, or instant film, let's say, I still want to push with that.
I totally understand you, and like also I'm like my passion is Polaroid material or instant material. Instant material, and that's where my heart lies. And I think that won't change too fast. But I'm starting to get to film photography. That's why I asked, like, if it's possible. And considering the price of an 8x10 film, doing a mosaic is also like investment. It's like
I know.
half months of a salary, let's say, like this for a regular person to do one picture, and then you're not sure if it's perfectly or not. But
But I'm considering if they don't reproduce very quickly. I still have, like I was saying before, I still have a few boxes of 8 or 9, and but I don't think I'm gonna use it as for mosaics. That would just break my heart a little bit unless I have really the biggest.
Got still some project, training in there, I guess, or some like idea.
Because of the perspectives and the lens. I mean, by now I'm very smooth taking a mosaic with an SX70, of course. I've tried a few with 195 or 180 or this film type. But the 8x10, because you have the ground glass, it could actually be quite easy
to frame.
But I don't know, it's somehow I've tried a few in studio. It's really nice. There's no problem. But I want to take it outdoors because that could be really amazing to make some really big pieces outdoor, and but that needs a little bit of try. So I've been considering to go to just film to train.
Exactly. But today we will give you a new challenge.
Yes.
You're going to shoot with a camera that you haven't had like actually used at all.
No.
That's the Mint RF70, which I'm like really happy to have here and to use. And I kind of want to get Thomas addicted to that camera, to buy one hopefully, to make some work. And we got a few packs of Instax film right here. Let's see.
A few.
Let's see if we all need them all.
Yes.
But Thomas is going to try to do a mosaic with that camera.
Yes.
And you already had some considerations when you first touched that camera, like before, about doing a mosaic with it, and like maybe you can share your thoughts of it, like what's important for framing and everything, and like the concept of the mosaic?
I mean, like, first of all, I have the Mint camera, the 670. They don't call it like this, but yeah. I haven't been shooting with Instax so much, and of course the film is cheaper. Also the colors and all that for mosaics, I think it would be kind of interesting. And then I'm really attracted with a wide, because I think, of course you can be very creative with a Instax Mini. And then the square, I feel, since I have a 670, why going over to that?
A little bit more,
Exactly.
See.
But the wide one, I think that could be a very nice thing. The first thing that I was asking you is, of course, about the viewfinder.
Exactly, that's something.
Because becomes very important. Like, of course, in a mosaic, when you're building it, you're gonna have some mismatch a little bit that creates the charm. I think. I guess some people like that. Some people really like to have it.
Galimberti's pictures, how he moves around and
But he has a very different. I mean,
style. He's doing the surrounding style kind of. And
but he's also using a different thing.
Yeah, he's a macro lens.
Exactly. So he's on this, you, touching really like this. For me, I'm away, so I have to think about other things than he has to. For example, I would say I'm more to the Hockney style kind of than the Galimberti.
Yeah, because Galimberti really has these. He's using a spectral camera for his images, and with the macro stand, which is something you can get. He's just on you, and then there's a lot of overlapping images. But he also has in his mind the final image. And it looks interesting. This spread up. It kind of looks like. If you see in 3D renderings, you looked at the texture packs when you lay it flat, and that's kind of how his images look like. Actually,
he does a lot of outdoor. That I don't know how he really shoots it. I don't think he has the thing, of course.
No,
but then also he plays with perspectives like this.
Exactly.
So he builds it very much. He has his assistant. I've seen a few, not video, but pictures and stuff. So I've understood his technique. But assistant just taking the picture, and he's really just
going through it.
So it's something much more architectural and all that. I think for me, like I said, it's more David Hockney that I would just attach myself onto a little bit like that.
So important thing, the viewfinder needs to be something accurate, and that's gonna be interesting.
What it shoots is what I want to see. But I mean, I'm really curious, of course, about how I'm gonna be able to. I mean, of course, there's the lines, so I'm gonna follow those lines. And then if it's not...
And you see my images. Aligning works.
Yes, exactly. The double
it works.
You showed me. Yes, definitely.
So did the lines work? The only thing is that when you close up, you have the second lines for a close up.
You'll explain me all that. But that's that. After that, I mean, in terms of composition, you work with grid, of course. I don't really have... it's not that I'm start always from my top left and then I just shoot. It's like you would be shooting a single image. You first even in the composition, I mean, you want to use the rule of thirds too. You still need to direct the eye of the viewer somewhere.
For sure, yes.
Even though it's much more complex, you get so much more information.
Maybe too much information, that's why you need to direct them to.
Exactly. And then what I love with mosaic, what I always loved is this thing that the viewer can go closer, further. There's this whole thing. So you're almost choreographing also I told you I come from the world of dance.
Yes.
So you're choreographing a bit movements as well. So coming closer to see one frame only and the details of this, coming out, seeing the whole image. So that is something that I like.
Maybe also something that I love when you talk about digital photography with a zoom lens and a prime lens.
Yes.
Because people when you buy these kits, you always have these zoom lenses and you see people just standing there turning their zoom and not moving at all. And I love to use a prime fixed lens where I have to move and get somewhere, and you change completely perspective and but you're in a completely different kind of photography in my opinion. Everybody that uses zooms and on that amateur level, I say, they are really counterproductive to your creativity and to your outcome actually.
It
really takes a lot out of the professional photography
and the learning. I mean, I would say I compose my image the same way as I would compose for a single image. Then of course after that there's the gridding. So by now I have these grids in my head.
So you know which
the brain has been divided.
Exactly, you know which distance you need for how many images. That's something you need to kind of learn, or?
Yeah, I would say depth is quite important. Like also you can, after a while, I mean, is this manual?
Yes, it's manual.
Yes, okay. So
Manual and auto.
you're gonna be able to decide if you want to have, of course, your subject probably if it's a portrait of you in focus, but then maybe in the back I want that thing blurry. But then eventually, why not another part? If I continue another part, a detail that I want to have in focus.
Yeah.
While another thing that's maybe a little bit less important in that frame. So you can start playing a little bit like this, and that's also interesting. The same as if you would have, but it makes me think about when you start tilting and shifting. It's a little bit similar also. So there's that greeting, and then of course, like I was saying, I don't start from there. I really start from where it's maybe a bit more of a feeling, you know, like what's gonna be. I mean, it's already hard enough, so where's gonna be the easiest to kind of get your guidelines in your head? Like if I start with you, okay, where do I start here? Where do I start there? Like the corners, what's here, what's here? So because I have to change film, of course, at some point. There's either 8 pictures
You have
or
to have a
how many
fixed
pictures
point
is
where
this?
you orientate yourself when you.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, this is where I can always come back, and then I start this. And then I just...
Yeah, and what I also saw was you have really like a stand, which you like your feet don't move at all while you take the image. You have a really straight body position, so I kind of know like you have the same tripod position all the time.
Exactly, which this I change sometimes. There's the gliding. If you like in cinema, you know, you could be having this, or you have the gyro, like
rotation,
kind of like rotation like this, and that gives very different results. Yeah, and also impression or
for
feelings.
Landscape shift, like sliding is, for example, interesting because it gives a different result, and
it's, I would say, it's much harder with the landscape because you take much more, and then if you so you're mostly gonna be doing this, but in studio, like especially when I did with the 8x10, then I was really like I was gliding up and down, taking down the,
because with tripod it works really good actually. So that's something you have to keep in mind, to have the position, to keep yourself stable, to don't move too much maybe at the beginning and try it out. And so
find a place where you find good, and then rotate around you.
Exactly.
And then if you go and change the film, remember where you're standing.
Yeah, we actually have everything in place that you just like go down.
I usually open all the packs because I know how many frames I'm gonna want. Open all the packs, put it there, and just shoot, throw the pictures.
Great. That in mind. And then like when you start out from the middle, or where do you start actually?
That's what I was saying before.
You just
let's see.
Skip, okay, because like I think it's good to have a starting point, but if you start out with like mosaic, to have a starting point which you can always orientate. You like to have the center frame maybe which you have, and then work your way from that one frame that you always have the same distance. Because if you start top left and then middle, and that you work it up your image.
That's what you kind of planned before.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying before, like I kind of start with a frame that I feel is gonna be a good reference point, and then kind of move like a bit robotic, you know, like.
But would you recommend for a beginner trying out this technique to get yourself started in the middle and then go like in a circle, or you know, like, or get that like row mode?
For a beginner, I would say start in the center.
Yeah,
or
that's what I also was thinking. Like get one
yeah,
subject and then start in the center and move your way. Okay, I do one right, I do one left. So start out with 3 images to have a panorama.
Exactly.
And then start out
then
and another row.
And then move down.
Exactly.
Yes. It also depends how close you are from your subject. How much do you want to chop your? Now I'm talking just about portraits, but.
People.
I mean,
I've
gone
a flower or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. But I've gone as close as chopping the face in 2, you know, and then this, and that's also really nice. Depending if you want to give more the surrounding of your model, or if you want to just have that
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just the
like the one you took of me, where I'm like kind of
in your environment,
in my environment, and like but I'm like as a person, I'm still like not cut into pieces like too much.
Yeah,
my body. But
I usually as a beginner, I would say don't cut the face.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing to align, because then it looks weird, and you're like maybe too much
Unless
confidence.
that's your creativity that is bringing you there, like you want to start playing.
Yeah,
like
well,
I've
we
been
never
playing,
want to
but
keep anybody in like boundaries.
No,
Always
no, no.
keep free, but
push
like
it.
yeah, I think it's good to have at the beginning some guidelines
Yes,
where to start, and
exactly.
then you can get creative. But
Yeah.
it's always good to master it, or not master it, but to know the technique a little
Yeah.
bit to get creative with
Exactly.
it. Because like if you're just going anywhere, you will never reproduce an image.
Yeah.
You will just always create something different,
Yeah.
and that will kind of frustrate you at some point when you
Yeah.
know what you want because you already did it once, but you can't reproduce that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's some really frustrating moment. I know that. So I hope I gave our people a nice insight or like
Yes.
idea to start a new creative technique.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. Of
And
course.
yeah, we are heading out now, recording the
Yes.
footage that you
Let's
just
try a
saw.
little bit. Let's try.
That has already been shown, and let's do it.
Yeah,
Come on.
exactly. Cool.
See ya.
Bye.